Hey everyone, welcome to Pitch Us. My name's Tim Cooley. I'm the author of the Pitch Deck book. One of the goals here is to increase the number of companies who are getting funded. We're joined by Bruce with an exciting company. Bruce, why don't you go ahead and share your screen and then pitch us?
Thank you. I would share my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So, hi, I'm Bruce Watanabe. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of PowerBuy. This is actually my fifth venture. I've exited out of two, and all primarily around technology. And Tu Trong is my CTO and co-founder. She's the reason why I'm here today working on this latest project. She's the chief architect of the platform that I will be demoing very shortly on one of our brands. And she's the inventor of our patent that got issued back in 2021 in February. She herself came to us with 30 years plus years of experience in e-commerce. And she was one of the chief pioneers of Amazon Payments back in 2004. So Amazon Payments now exists because of her and her experience. Tyler Brewer is the head of growth and success for North America. Michael Wahlberg is the head of growth and success for Asia-Pac and Japan, because we expanded into Asia-Pac and Japan earlier this year. And then Chan is one of our early employees that is the director of global operations. We have a pretty deep advisory board. Not only are they all advisors, they are also investors in our company. So David Mason is the co-founder of Buy.com, which got purchased by Rakuten. He advises us from a strategic perspective. Seth Dempsey is our technology advisor. He himself is a serial entrepreneur. His company recently got sold for $200+ million last year in 2021. Jamie Hoffman is our product advisor. His company, NewsDev, got recently funded by Y Combinator last year as well. Kohei Terada, I'll talk to him about him in the next slide because he's also a main investor in our company. Sandy Permati is the CFO of JD in China. And then Eric Bono is the CFO of Eureka. And Sandy and Eric were instrumental in basically expanding our business into Asia Pacific. These are our investors. I'll start from the top. SV Frontier is a Silicon Valley-based VC fund that invests in early-stage technology startups like PowerBuy. We've also taken on corporate VC funding from a publicly traded B2B, B2C marketplace business called Okfan. And later this year, we will be deploying PowerBuy in one of their biggest B2B marketplaces called Netsy. And then Kohei Terada, I've known him for 20+ years. I've done business with him for 10+ years, and this is our third venture together. He himself ran the fourth largest data center in Japan called BitIsle, which got acquired by Equinix. And now, after the acquisition, they are the top data center in all of Japan. And after that, he now is the CEO and chairman of Terada Warehouse, which is one of the biggest public storage companies in Japan. And they are the third largest landowner in Japan. So their family office is a big contributor and investor in my company. So PowerBuy, in essence, is disrupting the e-commerce and social commerce industry with a brand new checkout experience, which is new, innovative, and interactive, which it makes it funner for the shopper, but also adds value to the brand as well. So as you can see from this graphical representation, a lot of things have changed technologically, but not a lot of things have changed in the e-commerce, let alone the social commerce industry. So even though you go to Amazon, Walmart, or even a brand store like Nike.com, you still see the same checkout experience. You still see the add to cart or buy it now. And lately, you've been seeing a lot of buy now, pay later ventures like Afterplay, Klarna, even Bolt, one-click checkout. But at the end of the day, it's a single SKU, single shopper, single checkout. And our checkout experience is so much more different. And I'll show you that when I show you the demo on one of our brand sites. We have a lot of proprietary technology behind our PowerBuy checkout. We spent 3+ years in R&D, millions of lines of code. But more importantly, outside of the AI and ML technology that drives the conversion for our brands, we have a patent that was issued last year in February in 2021. So a lot of the things that I'm going to show you on our brand site is all protected by our patent in the US. So because of the fact that PowerBuy is a checkout experience, we incorporate a lot of key features that drives conversion, reduce customer acquisition costs, reduce cart abandonment, et cetera, which I'll show you in the checkout experience. But these are some of the key features that we incorporate into the checkout experience. But more importantly, what is the value that we bring to brands and retailers? Number one, and this is unheard of in e-commerce, is a conversion rate. This is from click to purchase, 11.5% on average. Across, we have around 800 plus brands worldwide that is currently using the checkout experience. But we've seen brands that convert at roughly 28 to 30% versus the traditional buy now or add to cart that converts at 1 to 2%. Our cart abandonment rate is 26% versus the industry average of 75%. Because we're B2B SaaS, we don't track customer acquisition costs for our brands. But what we do know is for every shopper that goes through the PowerBuy checkout experience, that single shopper brings in, on average, 68 new organic shoppers to the brand store without paying for a click, ad, or impression. And we've seen brands reduce their PPC spend by over 30+% because of the fact that they use PowerBuy checkout. And then, although our mission was never to reduce fraud, but the sheer cost of the PowerBuy alone bringing trusted traffic into the checkout experience helps brands reduce their fraud rate by 0.05%. Right now, currently, PowerBuy is available as a downloadable app on Shopify. So whether you're a Shopify or Shopify Plus brand, you can download our app, integrate, and you'll be up and running with PowerBuy within 15 minutes. And then we also have a lot of brands that are on Magento and WooCommerce that are asking for this. So we're about 50% done in terms of R&D. But 8 months ago, Amazon AWS reached out to us and basically informed us that a lot of their brands, which are big enterprise brands, wanted PowerBuy. And most of these brands are on a custom-built solution. So in conjunction with working with Amazon AWS, we built an API that basically allows these brands to integrate our API into their custom-built e-commerce solution, and they'll be able to get PowerBuy checkout, just the way Shopify brands are able to do it as well. And that was released earlier this year. We have a very strategic relationship with Amazon. So we are in partnership with Amazon Pay as well as Amazon AWS Marketplace. But also, last year, Unilever had a social commerce competition, and they were looking for disruptive companies worldwide all around social commerce. And because we are very unique and we're one of a kind, we were one of the finalists. And outside of that, we are working with 4 of their brands as of today. And then in addition, Unilever Ventures, we're working with Unilever Ventures to see if they can participate in our current pre-Series A round as well. So with that, I would like to show a quick demo. This is not even a demo. This is a brand that is using PowerBuy today. We have over 800 plus brands worldwide that are currently using checkout. So this is their D2C e-commerce store. And I want everyone to visualize it. This is their main store. So every shopper that are not connected on social media are going to this e-commerce store. So I'll click on one of the products that this brand Gills has made available on their e-commerce store. So I'm browsing and I say I like this UV hoodie. So as you can see here, typically you see the price, you see the product, and you see an add to cart or buy it now button. That's typical. And if you want a discount, you got to go look for it. Whether it's an email, whether it's honey, you got to go look for a coupon to get some discounts off the $59.99 price. But as you can see here, this is our PowerBuy checkout button. You can get this price for this product for $47.99. A lot of shoppers ask brands how. So we have a lot of copy here where you can learn more and you can see how the whole PowerBuy experience works. We have videos, we have social proof, and we have a lot of content to educate the shopper around how PowerBuy works. But most of the time, the shoppers gravitates towards the cheaper price. So they click on the button to learn because they're curious. So they click on the PowerBuy checkout. And as you can see, we launched the checkout experience. And as a shopper, there's a couple of things to notice here. This brand has decided to do a 3-tier PowerBuy, meaning the more products that you buy, the bigger the discount. So the discounts are front and center to the shopper, right? So as you can see here, this brand is willing to give this product a 20% discount if I buy one more additional item. So as you can see on the bottom, we use a lot of proprietary AI ML technology to bring relevant products to the shopper. So I was looking at this fleece earlier. So I add to cart, and voila, I get 20% off my entire purchase simply by adding more products to my cart. Okay. Now you see, I can get an additional 25% off if I buy more things. So I need 4 more products to get the 25% discount. So I start adding a bunch of things into my cart, and I add 1 more. Now I got 25% off. So now everything that I bought here that's in my cart, I immediately get a 25% discount because I met the minimum quantity that this brand Gills decided to put as a PowerBuy. So I have 2 choices. I can proceed to checkout and basically get 25% off all my entire purchase. Or I can wait, proceed to checkout, and then wait, because as you can see here, this brand decided I can get a 30% off if 5 more shoppers basically can participate in this deal. I bring 5 more friends or family into this deal, or I have a shopper that's, that I'm not connected on social media to buy 5 more additional items, and we all get 30% off. Okay. So just say, for example, I want to wait, and then here's a timer. I have 23 more hours for other shoppers to join. I crowdsource more demand on social media, or a single shopper can buy 5 additional things, and we all get 30% off. So I proceed to checkout, and we piggyback off the brand's payment gateway and the checkout system. So they don't need to integrate with any additional third party. They download our app, and we piggyback off the payment gateway. And I'm not going to go through the checkout experience because this is a real life brand, but I'll show you how it looks like after the shopper goes through the checkout experience and gets the order confirmation. So this is what they get. They get the order complete. Now they're incentivized to basically cross-source demand with their friends and family, and we make it very easy for them to share. So just say, for example, I click on the Twitter icon because I have a lot of Twitter friends. And then we kind of gamify the entire experience. So we put a timer here. We say, hey, look, if you crowdsource more demand, your friends can join the deal, and we all get a 30% discount. I click on the go button, and then all the content is already pre-populated by the brand. So all the shopper needs to do is click on tweet. And then once I tweet it to the wild, my friends see it, and they come back to the Gill site back here, and they can purchase other additional products and then help meet that minimum quantity. And that's PowerBuy.
Cool. Is that it?
That is it. Let me just stop sharing my screen. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I have to
awesome.
Have thing, that I wanted to share. I was going to share a fraction here. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
One more slide. So we released in September of 2020, and we spent not even a dime on marketing. This is all organic, and we amassed over 800 plus brands worldwide on Shopify. And we didn't charge any money in 2021 because we just wanted to make sure that there's a product market fit, there's brand adoption, etc. And once we hit 800, we're like, and plus we're spending nothing on marketing. We decided to start monetization in January of 2022, which is a couple months ago. And then from January through March, we basically make money off monthly subscription and commission and services. And we ended the quarter at 38,000 MR. And then the current pre-Series A money that we're raising, 95% of all the proceeds will be spent on growth and success, meaning internet marketing, etc. And with that, we are on track to hit 464,000 in monthly reoccurring revenue, just with our Shopify business at the end of the year, with over 1,800 plus merchants. That's where we're at.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for that. Welcome, Jeff. Join us a little bit late, but that's all good. You're here.
Thank you.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes, Bruce. Great to meet you. I jumped in partway through. I couldn't get into the webinar here. So.
No problem. Well, nice to meet you, or virtually meet you.
Yes, likewise.
Jeff, do you have any questions right now?
I do. And part of this will go into some of the feedback, but what is it? I guess first off, what is it you're actually asking for? Are you raising capital?
Yes,
Is this
correct. So we're raising a pre-Series A round. We're raising 2.4 million. We have a lead VC already that committed, not even committed, the agreement signed, so $1 million. 400,000 was allocated to existing investors and founders. That's already done. And so we have $1 million in subscription left at the moment. Meaning
okay?
there's 3 VCs that are doing due diligence, but until the subscription agreement is signed and money's in the bank, it's still I still consider 1 million in open subscription.
Okay. And was that presented at the very beginning? Did I miss that?
I didn't present
It was not.
the parameters for fund.
Okay. Okay. Yep. No problem. Yeah. Other than that, you mentioned that you're going to have 1,800 merchants by the end of the year. I was wondering, how many do you have now? I was trying to zoom in to see if I could see it from the graphs and stuff. But how many merchants do you have right now?
We have roughly around 800 plus. We don't really call them we call them brands, but we have
brands. Okay.
Worldwide. But about roughly 20% of them bring in 95% of the total revenue. Like we have a bunch of Shopify merchants that we call fishes. We classify the brands as fish, dolphins, and whales. We have a lot of fishes, and we're working upstream for dolphins and then also whales.
Okay.
Makes sense. That's how that model works. Cool.
But we are launching a professional services, like not say division, but service offering, where we're going to be helping these fishes obviously work with PowerBuy and also get increased conversions, increased orders, etc. Because they're starting a Shopify store for a reason, and we want to help these Shopify stores get to the whale or the dolphins and whales. So we have a whole professional service offering that we'll be launching, possibly in late Q2, early Q3.
Awesome. Well, so the next part here, we'll tell you what we liked and what we think there's improvement. Since Jeff, you joined a little bit late, I'd like to go first on this case. Some of the things I liked, first of all, I really love this space. E-commerce is one of those things. I think and sometimes we talk about what we like to see as pitches in general. When you can hit an investor's heart, you can it makes the thing move. Having done e-com in the past, I just love the idea of this technology. So that's one thing for me. I just like the idea. Your background is very impressive. Jeff, you missed this, but he been involved in 5 companies that have exited. The talent that you guys bring to this is also very impressive. We can cover some of the things I didn't like as well with that, but those are the 2 big things. I really love the space. I think your guys' background is people who execute, and that's pretty awesome. Jeff, what are the things that you really liked about the presentation?
Yeah, honestly, Bruce, that's an impressive background. I missed that part of it, but I will say it comes across in your presentation. You present very well. I think you're great at talking through everything. I thought that was a real positive and a plus. I also liked how you presented it in terms of where you said this is the checkout process from the 1990s and all the way up to today, and it hadn't changed. I thought that was very well done. I liked that slide a lot, and just the overall the demo. I was really nervous when you said, "Okay, we're going to go through a demo," and I was like, oh, great, here we go. Mm-hmm. It's probably not going to work, all that stuff. But good job. That actually worked out well. I thought that was a positive, even though it was a little bit long probably. And that was maybe one thing that we could hit on. I think just depending on how long you're going to have to present something like this.
Thank you. You're right, because typically in my previous ventures, I had to oversell. I mean, we had differentiated value propositions, but I oversold all the time. But in this latest venture, my product speaks for itself. That's why I want to show it off. I'd rather not go through the pitch.
You're totally excited about it. You're like, check this out.
Mm-hmm. I'd rather just show the product than go through the pitch.
Yeah.
Well,
So
and one of the things
we'll
I'll
probably get
mention,
into some of that.
yeah, one of the things I'll mention with people who are thinking about demoing a product, one of the things you did really, really well was you didn't log in. You went straight to how the product works. A lot of times, people who want to demo will take a long time to get to that value creation part. And I love that. And you did this
Right.
really, really well. You got to it really quickly. So if you're thinking about that as pitching, get to the value creation really, really quickly. Or I'm going to recommend use photos. If you can't get there within seconds, right? So now to the fun part. Let's talk about some of the areas I think that we can improve. I mean, clearly your background speaks volumes. I don't think you needed to spend that much time on the background, especially of your investors, that early in the presentation. We were probably about 2, maybe 3 minutes in, and I'm like, that's cool, but like, I want to know what you're doing. I think it is important to bring those people in. And I think this is one of those moments where you almost have to test it in a way where it might be valuable to talk about your team really, really early on. A lot of investors love the team. And you're like, guys, look, this is our first venture. We've got 10 people who've done this before. Let me tell you about the company. That's a really beautiful way. For other people, if the team isn't as strong as yours, sometimes it's better to back end it, but the investor side, I would bring more into the traction side of things.
Got it.
With that
Thank
being
you.
said, I would have loved to have gotten to the product earlier, because typically in businesses, you're doing something kind of unique and new. Yours is a checkout system. I loved, like, it hasn't changed. Even with our product, it hasn't changed, but let me show you how it has. Because that picture didn't really tell me what was happening, and the demo really did. And I was like, oh, I can see why this is valuable. I can see the value add, because you could be like, we make checkouts better. And I wouldn't have believed you until we saw it. So I think you can just really front load that. Another thing that I think was missing really was, like, I get you have 800 customers, but I didn't understand like how they actually paid you. I actually thought it was going to be a cart share. Until you said it was a subscription model, and I didn't know what the subscription model was. So that's something that I would add. Do the demo, just tell me quickly, it's $20 a month. And then we have a services fee that's a couple dollars per hour. And then go into those traction components at the end.
Thank you.
Would have been really, like, that's just these. Let me back up. You did a really good job here. Like, it just speaks for itself. But I think those things are the ones where people who don't know you would be even more excited. And so, yeah, so I would say those are some of my big ones that I can think of off the top of my head.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I keep going back to, I think you're a very good presenter, and obviously, I mean, your experience comes through. I did notice on a lot of your slides, there was a lot of content and lots of words, and I'm trying to read through it, and there's no way I'm getting through all that text. So lots of text on there. I mean, your vision slide, I think you spent 10 seconds on it, and I read maybe 2 sentences while I was trying to listen to you at the same time. Very distracting in that regard.
Got it.
And there were multiple slides kind of like that. So maybe take a look at some of your slides that way. Let's see, some of the other things. I came into the presentation late, and you were talking about the team and then right into the investors. And I'm like, dang, I missed the entire presentation here. I thought that we were at the end where you're kind of wrapping it up. Because that's very common to kind of talk about the team and wrap things up that way. At the same time, I agree with Tim. I think because of the strength of your team, and it sounds like your background that you presented, I think that's great to start off that way. I was surprised that you hadn't already gotten to the product at that point, and I was ready to kind of jump into that. Building off of what Tim had mentioned also, once you told me about the problem, how the checkout process hasn't really changed and how you're going to change it, I would almost go, and we've changed this, and maybe show one slide and then jump into the demo. And or maybe even say, and this is what we've changed, and maybe you could even talk about the team and how great you guys are at that point, but then, say, and here's the demo, and here's how it solidifies it. I would probably streamline the demo a little bit.
Okay.
Just overall, I think it was a long pitch. Tim, did you get a time on it, or?
I didn't, but
I want to say, because I jumped in late, and I think we are still maybe 15 minutes, and a big chunk of that was the demo. I would streamline that a little bit, and then at the very end, we hit the demo, and then it was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
And it was like, I felt like, oh, wait a second, we didn't finish. And then you did have a slide that came back in and said, oh, and by the way, here's the thing. That's got to be an integral part of your pitch. Okay. Is here's our financials, or here's where we're at, our 800 customers, here's how we're making money, and here's the projections. And then you started to tell us, I mean, this is what's really meaningful, is we're going to be at 1,800 merchants, and that's going to equal $467,000 a month in revenue. I want to see that in a chart that's in my face saying, this is huge, and we're going to get there quickly. That's what gets me excited as an investor. And then you wrap that up with one more slide that says, and here's what we're asking for. We need, $2 million, $2.4 million, and we've already got $1.5 million committed and another $500,000 soft circled or whatever. And bam, we need you guys have a chance to get in on something special here if you're interested.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff. One thing to think about, and this is a lot for more audience people, is if you are running into content issues, think about, there's two ways of kind of seeing if you're doing it right. One is think about the oldest person in the room who might be listening to it, divide their age by 2, and that's the smallest your font should be. Right? So if a person is 70, then your content should be no smaller than 35 font size, or rule of thumb, use 22. It's a really simple way of cutting down content. And what you might find, like, for example, in this case, your last slide was really text heavy.
It was, yeah.
And it wasn't really organized very well. So I was reading it, but I was also lost. And then, like Jeff said, there was a slide that seemed really, really important. And I was excited to read it. And then you blitzed through it and I didn't get to read any of it. So that's a good way of kind of framing the slide itself from the content point of view.
Got it. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I'll just mention, Tim, some of that stuff you just mentioned, I think is actually in a book called the Pitch Deck book. And I would actually read through that, because even some of the formatting and some of that stuff with your slides, I think there's some things that you could really improve on there.
Thank you.
Okay. So now it comes down to the question, based off of what you heard today, Jeff, would you take this company to due diligence?
Hey, so notice how Tim goes first on everything else, and then he's making me go first now.
Yep.
Does this get through?
I can go first if you want.
All right, you go first. Yeah,
actually, based off the presentation, normally I wouldn't, but I actually really like this space, so I definitely would. I would love to learn more about it. We finally got the information that we needed, but more importantly, I love the space than the pitch itself. Yeah. What about you, Jeff?
Yeah, and I think the presentation honestly needs some work.
Okay,
I think you can get there. The message came across loud and clear that you've got the experience. I feel like you have the right team and some investors already behind you. And so it's giving me confidence to go, okay, there's something here. Maybe we need to work on the presentation, but I think there's something here that I want to keep talking to you and go, I'm interested enough to say, hey, why don't you come back and give us another crack here? Go clean up a couple things. I want to see your financial model probably, okay, and understand some of that stuff. But I was interested enough to say, I want to keep talking and learn a little bit more. So I would probably put you through with some homework in advance of meeting again.
Excellent.
I totally agree. And typically what happens is there's a screening meeting, and then there's a kind of I'm gonna call it a general meeting. That's what we call it at Park City Angels. And so I would have screened you. I would have loved the idea. And like Jeff said, I would have given you a ton of homework. and then I would have taken you to another pitch.
Okay.
And what we would have done in that time frame and said, is this person coachable? Did they change the things that were important? And if you did, the odds of going to due diligence would be much higher because, like I said, I love the space. So that's something to think about if someone's presenting to multiple stages in an investment pipeline.
Yeah, this is great feedback. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Great.
Awesome.
I hope it's helpful, and great job presenting.
Absolutely. I'm always open for feedback.
Yeah.
Always, all the time. I mean, I'd rather get constructive feedback than positive feedback, to be honest with you.
Yeah, totally. That's why we wanted to do this. I mean, really our goal here is to help a lot of entrepreneurs. Having tried to raise capital and failing at it and been on the other side of the table, we just think it's the right thing to do is to share this information. And so with that being said, if you guys are looking for help pitching, please apply. We'd love to have more applications for Pitch Us. And if you're looking for financial help, check out Forecaster. And with that, we'll see you guys next time.